With 2007 being RuneScape's peak, 2008 was the first time it was faced with a decline. In a way, it was the first dark era of RuneScape. RuneScape's incredible worldwide popularity had seen it regularly show more than 200,000 players online at once, something it would struggle to see again. The wilderness and free trade removal saw players leave in their droves. And worst of all, after the release of Summoning in January 2008, Zezima fell from the rank 1 on the high scores, never to return to the spot. But it was not all doom and gloom. In July of 2008, RuneScape was going to receive a HD overhaul, the largest graphical makeover since the introduction of RuneScape 2. But what's more, it was also going to see the humble beginnings of RuneScape's largest player-made hoax, sailing. Hello everyone, my name is Wilmissit and I love a good conspiracy theory. There's just something so interesting about ideas that make so much sense but are completely wrong. I even started one myself. Back in 2017, I was a part of a community group that faked a bank standing pet. We made quite a few people spend all of April Fool's Day standing in a bank for no reason at all. Although people tend to do that most days anyway. Conspiracies and hoaxes have however been around in-game for a long time. A few might remember the 2 buckets of sand from the release of Raids in 2015 when a fake screenshot of Mod Chris L claiming the players needed 2 buckets of sand to defeat Yakomaru spread like wildfire and fooled the community. Or for the real veterans of the game, when mint cakes went from a completely useless item to a pre-summoning shard currency all because one dude had a few too many of them stored up after an inappropriate joke with his girlfriend. The largest one of all, however, come from the midsummer months of 2008. With RSHD in production since January 2007, Jagex's hard work paid off when it finally released on July 1st, 2008, the graphical overhaul proving to be a huge hit. Just 3 days later, while chopping trees in Sears Village, a player named Fangallo received a private message from his friend Crodisumo. In it, Crodisumo claimed to have found a bug on the high scores. Outside of the game, Fangallo received an image. In it, there was a convincing look at a sailing skill, an icon. Now, it's worth mentioning that skill leaks weren't entirely unreasonable back in the day. When Summoning had released 6 months prior, the players had already seen some hints towards it. Jagex had prepared small teasers such as adding the Yanil pet store before players could access it and having a small chance of a squid pet to spawn in the place of dead players. But not all these hints were planned by Jagex. For example, for 1 hour on the high scores, an undefined skill appeared which a few players already had levels in somehow. If you examined the invisible skill icon, you could supposedly see the file name summoning.gif. Also in 2008, large updates like new skills weren't years apart. 2 years prior, in 2006, Construction and Hunter had been released within 5 months of each other. The same was true for Slayer and Farming in 2005. A year after Hunter, Summoning had released. So when a player claimed to have found a new high score leak just 6 months later, it was actually kind of plausible. Keep in mind that this was also during a time when the average player base was quite young, and people weren't quite as savvy with what they saw online. A screenshot was plenty of proof to most players. With full trust in Crodisumo and confidence that the sailing image was real, Fangallo uploaded a video to YouTube on 4th of July 2008 showcasing the upcoming skill. The video went viral. News started to spread of the alleged high score leak, with players posting to the RuneScape forums and theorizing on their own. As the video's popularity grew and grew, Crodisumo eventually admitted that the image was fake, but still the video stayed public. A forum post by community manager Mod Mark H, made before sailing was leaked, was quickly pulled up as evidence to support the new theory. In the post, he turns attention towards the new banner on the RuneScape homepage, with a cryptic message about the banner's contents. In it, you could see a man on a boat watching Elvarg destroy Crandor. What's more, the man wore a cape not unlike a skill cape, one that was blue with a white trim and a faint symbol that kind of looked like a boat, if you squinted hard enough, a boat like the one from the fake high score leak. After this, the community went wild trying to find more hints about sailing being the next skill. Players searching through the in-game quick chat discovered unreleased items that could tie back into sailing, such as different tiers of cannonballs. These cannonballs were never released in the game. Some players noticed that you could see other locations by looking into the distance from various dungeons. Inside the stronghold of security, you could catch a glimpse of a faraway room which appeared to have a boat inside of it. In reality, Jagex had simply placed different instances too close to one another, and the players were likely just viewing a quest location. Less tangible evidence was also brought forward. With RuneScape HD, the world map had been made accessible in-game and tidied up slightly as a result. Before, Jagex would just leave the edges of the map as inaccessible black squares, but now vast oceans surrounded the land. Why would Jagex add so much water if we weren't going to explore it? It couldn't be because they just wanted to make the map look nicer. Nope, sailing confirmed. Other players tried to argue that the wide array of pirate outfits dropped by the newly added pirate implings were an early addition for all the different outfits you'd use for sailing. These implings had been added a month prior alongside the pirate quest Rocking Out. There were also theories that the museum boat later used to reach Anachronia or Fossil Island was another teaser for sailing. While this boat had been added over a year earlier, it was another coincidence that added fuel to the fire for a young and gullible audience. In an attempt to stop the rumors, Mod Dave came forward on July 11th. No, everyone, sailing is not the next skill. It's not in development, you can all go home now. As you can imagine, this only made things worse. Updated water graphics with RSHD, teaser for sailing. Boats exist, teaser for sailing. A picture of a dragon plate body, an unreleased piece of armor published on the Parent's Guide for RuneScape. Sure, why not? That's also a teaser for sailing. The dragon plate body would be properly released later that year, not alongside sailing. Jagex wasn't able to put a stop to the sailing theories, but they did quiet down by themselves over time. Although quiet down doesn't mean stopped. So Jagex decided to do what they did best and reclaim the idea but making it their own joke. In the years since, there have been a phenomenal amount of references to the fake skill. For example, in 2009, both Mod MMG and Mod French had to explain that the upcoming skill was not going to be sailing. It later turned out to be dungeoneering. In the April Fool's behind the scenes of 2011, there was a brief mention of sailing finally being released. In the Cryptic Cluefest in 2011, there was a crossword hint that read the skill that never was. The answer, of course, was sailing. Jagex released a promotional video for player-owned ports saying,
"He thought that sailing was a new skill, but no, it's not that easy."
Player-owned ports was directly inspired from sailing. In 2013, Modmark had to say the new skill wasn't sailing, but divination.
No, it's not sailing. Just thought I'd troll you a bit there. It's in fact called divination.
Right afterwards, sailing was referenced in a behind-the-scenes video. Sailing was referenced in a chat dialogue with Tiny Illusion. Sailing had its own skill level-up guide during the 2014 April Fool's Joke event. Old School released Sailing as a spoof skill and was trainable to level 21. Sailing was released as an available preset name. Sailing was featured as an unreleased skill in the Gara quest. In 2017, Sailing was referenced as an in-game world announcement April Fool's joke. Sailing didn't always have to be a fake skill, however. In 2015, Old School RuneScape proposed Sailing as an actual skill release, detailed through 3 development blogs and a teaser video. However, when the poll to release the skill was released, only 68% of players voted in favor of it, narrowly missing the required 75% of votes to pass. Thanks to those 32% of players, Old School successfully warded off another skill. See what I did there? Warded off, get it? Over in RuneScape 3, when plans for a new skill started in the January of 2018, Jagex discussed several ideas of what this could be. After going through a shortlist over a period of several months, it came down to a decision between sailing and archaeology during June 2018. After they made a playable demo of both skills and figured out which one worked better, the team opted to develop archaeology. I attempted to get a look at the sailing demo for this video, but unfortunately I was unsuccessful. Even if it never managed to become a reality, sailing has found life in the collective consciousness of the community and remains an undeniable part of the game's great history. The original video uploader, Fangello, still plays RuneScape today under the alias Baby Bear. He has a lot of mixed feelings about the legacy of sailing, saying Sumo is the creative mind of the skill, even if Fangello was the one who popularized it. Sumo, on the other hand, quit shortly after his edited screenshot went viral in 2008. Who knows if he ever got to see the heights that his joke achieved. Although, given how quickly he left after it first happened, maybe he just didn't want to wrestle with the notoriety of the hoax. And that's it for this time. Hopefully you all enjoyed this one. I still have fond memories of the week that sailing leaked and the craziness that followed. Every time there was a system update for months after it, people would keep spamming sailing in hopes that the skill would finally be released. But here we are, seeing it voted against on old school end in RS3, watching it lose to a skill where you dig in the mud for XP instead of sailing the high seas. But hey, you never know what the future might hold. Make sure to slap on a subscription if you want to see more deep dives into RuneScape's history, because there is a lot more coming. I'll see you next week for another new video. My name is WillMissIt and I've got a boat to catch. Goodbye.